Mira, si yo estoy acá adentro justamente porque no traiciono a nadie. Acá. Vení. Yo sí que... No. Es la última oportunidad que tengo para darle una buena vida al nene.
No, deja de decir pavada, solamente estás pensando en vos y lo demás que nos pudra.
No digas eso.
Dale.
No.
Yes, so if you guys don't know, in the second season of the Netflix Argentinian prison drama In the Mud, and in this case in El Barrio, the lesbian plotline centers around a survival-driven relationship between Nicole and Solita, alongside a new prison boss, in this case La Gringa. So that is the whole plot of season 2. Majority of the storyline, revolves around these three characters. And I want to say that I'm actually very surprised that I haven't heard about this, series, previously. But after doing like research on, couples to watch and all of that, they actually came across. And to be honest, I was very happy, with their plot. I was very happy with the ending of their plot as well. So we will be breaking down and speaking about everything that happened between this very, very interesting couple. Yes, so basically in season 2, follows mostly La Gringa, who is a powerful prisoner leader who controls and runs a lucrative crime organization inside the prison walls. La Gringa actually has a girlfriend who she is deeply, deeply obsessed about, and she doesn't want nobody to come near her, look at her, just smell her or anything. In this case, it is Nicole. But obviously, Nicole is only with La Gringa because of power. In this case, La Gringa, she's very aggressive, she is very obsessive, and also she can be very, very dangerous as well towards Nicole. So Nicole, she knows she has to play her roles in order not to get, in trouble, and also, be in a position where she can make extra money for her son who's outside prison, and that she can keep, taking care of him. So she kind of just has to deal, with La Gringa in order to survive inside the prison, and also, make some extra funds. On the other hand, she has this whole, love storyline with Solita. Solita is also a prisoner, and she knows she cannot be with Nicole because of La Gringa. So they kind of have to keep their relationship low profile. Nobody needs or can know that they, have something going on, because, they actually do like each other. And you can see it from the very beginning in season 2, them just getting closer and closer to one another. Obviously, things take a very, very, very unexpected turn when one of La Gringa's, members of her, organization finds out that, in this case, Solita and Nicole, they have an affair. And while they were going back and forward, Solita and Nicole actually ends up eliminating, in this case, La Gringa's, group member. So after that, they had to cover up the crime, because you guys have to keep in mind they are in prison. If they actually end up finding out that they eliminated somebody, they can get, 10 more years on their sentence already. And Nicole, she was actually expected to leave the prison in a year, so the last thing she needs is to get, more time on her books. So they actually end up asking, help for another, powerful woman in the prison as well, to help them cover up the crime. Everything went well. But obviously, this person that also is in power in the prison told them, hey, I help you, now you all have to help me. So the mission was for them to actually take a very, very famous, guy and bring him to prison, so that they can get that person's, nephew back. So that was kind of the deal. Obviously, at the beginning, there were the two ladies that were scared to do it, but they also knew that they needed to do it because the lady helped them out. So now they have to do their part. But obviously, things don't actually end up going as planned, because you can see that in this case, Nicole, she ends up revealing her face to the guy. And then later on, things, just took a very, 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 very big turn. Later on, La Gringa actually ends up finding out that Nicole was betraying her and keeping the secret, from her. She ends up getting into a very serious, physical situation with La Gringa, where she got literally very much injured. It took her to the hospital, and I feel like that was the point where she ended up realizing that if she doesn't find or look for a way out of the prison, that she will get eliminated sooner or later. And obviously, there's a lot of things that happen, meanwhile they are trying to figure out a way on how to get money so that they can escape. Obviously, you can see that Solita at the beginning, she was very determined, to make this through with Nicole and not giving up on her, giving up on the relationship. But Nicole, she was more worried about her son, and saying the only reason, that's keeping her alive is her son, and the only person who she loves and she cares for is her son. And also, you can see that Solita kind of felt betrayed, because she felt like they were, going in the same direction, and now she kind of starts to feel like it's a one-sided relationship. But then later on, Nicole tells her, no, I actually end up realizing that you are the only person who's always there for me, and I want us to do this together so we can get money and we can escape and finally have our freedom. Because Nicole also ended up getting, the news that she might not be, only in for another year because of her lawyer's situation and decisions that he have made it without consulting her, which can add more years on her books. So that was also like the moment where she realized that the only way that she can get back to her son and get out of prison is by escaping. And obviously she and, in this case Solita, they end up joining powers in order to make that happen. And obviously they got themselves into dangerous situations where they could have got eliminated, but obviously everything ends up working out for them, because during a whole situation with La Gringa and their daughter, and just, everybody going against everybody in prison, you can see that La Gringa actually ends up getting eliminated alongside her daughter. And there was the moment when Nicole finally got her freedom, and there was the moment where, in this case, Solita and Nicole could finally live their relationship out loud and proud, and just, finally not having to hide anymore because La Gringa was no longer in the picture. So after that, when things starts to calm down, you can finally see that Solita and Nicole, they make their plan together to escape. And yes, they finally found a way out to escape, because you guys have to keep in mind they actually end up going out for jobs, at night. So when they go out to go get those jobs done, they finally took an opportunity to set up a plan so they can escape and get some money. And by the end of the season, we can finally, see them, escaping together and finally having that moment where they realize they made it out and that they're never going back to prison again. Because you guys have to realize that the system in this Argentinian prison, it was a very corruptive system. So people would get eliminated from left to right, people would escape and nobody would really care. So they knew the moment that they would escape, it wouldn't be like they wouldn't be seeking or going after so much, because the prison system is just wholly messed up. So when they finally got out, they got money, they got a car. The plan worked out just the way they did, so everything went well for them, and they actually end up escaping and finally having that freedom, while what they both were looking for. At the beginning, I thought Nicole was the only one that was gonna escape, but later on, to see Solita also, be like, okay, let's do it. If you're gonna do this and you wanna do it with me, and I wanna do it with you, because I don't wanna lose you. You are the only person that's keeping me alive in this place. Let's do it. So they kind of had to join forces in order to find their freedom. And I feel like that was something that just brought them together even more. Like their relationship began as a survival method. Later on, they definitely did fall in love with one another. But Nicole was more worried about, her son and her freedom, not realizing that she was pushing in this case, Solita away. And then Solita actually end up realizing that, she's just been going through a lot, having to deal with La Gringa and this woman she doesn't want to be with, but she has to be with her because she needs to be with her. And later on, finally realizing that, they definitely do care for one another, and all they need to do is put their egos aside, their pride aside, and make it happen. And that's exactly what happened. So if you guys want to watch more, I would definitely recommend going to Netflix season 2, type in the mud, and there you will guys find, the story, and it's 100% worth the watch, because I watched the whole entire season and they are in every single episode with a lot of camera time. So go ahead, go watch, go support. It's definitely not a disappointment at all.